All right, everyone. New studio, new us. How do we feel?
I can't believe it. This little shiplap moment, Abigail.
It's a little bit more us than the sports, no offense.
No offense to the sports.
No offense to the sporting sports. There's so many of them that I care about. I know so much about all of the sports.
This is the vibe, though.
It is, yeah. Annie said to me earlier, she was like, I'm going to ask you about the Celtics defense today. And I was like, all I know is one time earlier this year, I met Grant Williams.
I know, which is so awesome.
He was so nice. And it was fresh off of, I know this, it was fresh off of when he was suspended for, I think, 1 or 2 games for like yelling at a ref or something. And so I think they were trying to get him some good PR. So they sent him to a local middle school.
Amazing.
And he was so nice. And the kids like weren't allowed to ask him for pictures or anything. But I was like, I'm not a kid. And I went up to him and Scal and I was like, can I take a selfie with you guys? And they're like, yeah, of course. Like, thanks for everything you do. And I was like, stop it or I'll punch you in the face. That's so nice of you. I'm going to cry.
I love when athletes just like they don't act like they're above anything else. You know what I mean? They're like,
they were very normal.
Yeah, which is the best.
Yeah.
It's so funny because Scal, I mean, this is like way
I
too
love
into
Scal.
sports, but Scal was like so shitted on in the NBA. Like people were like, yeah, I could, like guys our age would be like, yeah, if we played pickup, I could beat him. So he was like, okay, let's do it. And he like went one-on-one with a bunch of guys. Of course he smoked everybody. He's in the fucking NBA.
Right.
Like
all these guys are like, I could beat Scal.
Like sure you could.
Okay, Jan.
No, it's like that every boy watching a Patriots game.
And they're like, oh, I could do that.
I'm like, you were on JV.
Right.
Please keep it moving.
But one thing that you and I were just saying that we could do, like that somebody famous does, is the Call Her Daddy Ariana episode dropped today. And Annie and I both were like, we could be Alex Cooper a million times better than Alex Cooper ever could.
Truly.
And I mean that so sincerely. It was painful. I mean, the interview was fantastic, but it was hard to even listen to because she is such a nightmare.
She's insufferable. The interview was fantastic because Ariana.
Yeah, absolutely.
When Alex has a good guest.
Yeah.
Like Miley, and I know we've talked about it before. It's awesome because when the guests give such raw, real, and long-winded answers, it minimizes the amount of time she gets to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ariana was doing that. She was serving it all. Yeah.
Thank God. Do you think she's sick of talking about it, though? I would be so over talking about it by now.
I would be, but I think there's still stuff that she has to clear the air on, which is
so
awful
true.
That she has to.
I know, because there's still stuff she's finding out about.
Right. And I think, and she talked a lot about that in the interview, which I think was like, it was really interesting.
I know. And I think she's done such a great job in the last however many months it's been, this broken March, right? I think she's done such a great job holding her head high and really like not shitting on Tom as much as she could. Like she's
as much as she should.
Like when, Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Like
so
when
true.
they go low, I go lower, personally.
Me too. And I've always said that.
I will forgive, but I will never forget. And I will make sure that you also never forget.
No, and it's so funny because you and I were just talking about this the other day because I posted something on my story about I got my master's degree this past weekend.
Yep. Hell yes.
Feels so good to be done. Like I actually genuinely don't know what I'm going to do with all my spare time.
I'm so excited for you.
Which is funny because like I work full time, do the podcast. Like I have a million things going on. Like there's plenty for me to do.
Sure.
There's no shortage of that. But I had a 3rd grade teacher who basically was like, she has a learning disability. She's never going to make it. Like unless you get this like fixed. And my parents got me tested for a learning disability, didn't have one. And she was like, there's no way, the testing is wrong. She was just basically a huge, big bitch about it. And I want to find her and go back and be like, what's up now? How are you? Guess who has a master's degree? You probably never did.
Isn't it just so crazy how adults can speak to kids that way?
Yeah. I also had a teacher who told me I had the greasiest hair out of any child she'd ever encountered. And ever since then, I have a real greasy hair complex.
Like, it's just crazy to me how the way that human beings treat other human beings. And I know we're going to talk about Taylor Lautner in a bit, but like when I was in college, I came back actually to a North basketball game and I saw the guy that was the AD at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'm a comm major. I'm really trying to pursue this radio thing. I think it's going to work out for me. And he was like, yeah, call me when you get a real major. And just was like so dismissive about it. And then when I had a professor in college that was like, radio is dying. You're never going to be successful. You're not going to make it. I need you to go into a different field. And so badly,
oh my God, imagine.
so badly, I wanted to, and I really loved him. Like we had a great relationship and he was so smart and taught me so much. But I'm just like, I don't care if your goal in life is I don't care. I don't care what it is. If you want to flip burgers, if you want to pick up trash, if you want to sell friendship bracelets on the street, I don't give a shit, whatever makes you happy. And I don't know why people feel like they have the authority to say, well, that's a stupid dream.
Right.
Just mind your business.
Like, why are you going to yuck my yum, man? Like,
literally
it doesn't have to
keep
be
it
like
moving.
that. It is. It's crazy.
Keep it fucking moving.
And that's what I said on this was on my close friend story. And I was like, I love my grudges. I tend to them like little plants, which is one of my favorite quotes from Big Little Lies with Reese Witherspoon. That's what she says. Madeline, whatever she says. I love my grudges. I tend to them like little plants. And that's me. I love a good grudge. There's
I need to
nothing better than a
rewatch
grudge.
that show because that is a fabulous, fabulous
It
television
is really
program.
good. It is. It's a great one.
The acting is so good.
Incredible.
And every
Incredible.
woman in it is just such a superstar. And I love that they love each other. Like
I know. I wish there was. I mean, I know they didn't need more seasons, but I always wish there was more of that one.
But there was a big, because they had won the Emmy, the Oscar. Oscars are only movies, right?
Yeah,
Emmys
so
are
is
TV.
Emmy,
They had won the Emmy for Best Limited Series. And technically you're not, they had a second season, right?
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to with the limited series. So I think people were pissed off about
there was
that.
a controversy.
So whatever, I get that. But yeah, we would love more content.
Ugh, I would love it. All right. Well, before we really dive in, I do want to talk about something for a minute, if that's okay with you.
I would love.
I just have something I want to share. So I have had a lot of people, I had talked on the podcast a little bit about my IVF journey and going through IVF. And I've had a lot of people reaching out, just asking if I'm okay, asking for an update. I haven't really posted anything about it in a while. I was trying to go pretty private about it. But I kind of have had a lot of time to talk to other people who have gone through it. And I recently, I won't say like how long, but recently had a embryo transfer. We had embryos that were frozen. We had an embryo transfer and it failed, which is, we had about a 60% chance of it turning into a pregnancy, and it didn't stick, and that's okay. You know, we kind of made peace with it. But I just felt I felt really embarrassed when I first found out, and I was kind of embarrassed, like, what am I doing wrong? And what did I do? And, you know, when I told my husband that they had called and said that it didn't stick, like the first thing he said was, you know, you did nothing wrong. This has nothing to do with you. And it wasn't the right time and whatever. But I just wanted to quickly kind of talk about that because it is something that has been at the forefront of my mind. And I feel like a lot of people, something that I've heard from a lot of people that have done IVF is, you know, it takes so much from you before, you know, people always say motherhood changes you and it takes so much from you. And IVF has, and I don't mean to sound ungrateful. I'm very lucky that I've even been able to have this option, but it has, you know, changed a lot in my life, you know, long before I've even had a child. And I was feeling really embarrassed and feeling like kind of tail between my legs. Like, I don't want to talk about this because, you know, I just felt like I had failed and I had done something wrong. And, you know, everybody that I talked to was like, but that's not true. And that's not the case.
Not at all.
And, you know, you shouldn't feel like that. So I just kind of wanted to say something so that people knew, you know, that that's what we're going through, and we're going to continue and we're going to persist and we're going to, you know, see what comes next for us. But that is where we're at right now with it. And there's nobody, and I can't make myself any clearer about this. Those of you who are struggling to get pregnant, trying to conceive, any of that, you're not alone. It is the most isolating process in the whole world. And I don't want anybody to feel like they have to go through it alone. My DMs are always open. My messages, like, please reach out. I have, you know, people I can put you in contact with, and the people that have been there for me are absolutely invaluable. Yesterday, I was talking to my therapist and I started crying because I am so thankful for my best friend, Meg, who I need to shout out for a second, who the day that I found out that I was not pregnant after the transfer was there with me when I found out. My husband had a prior commitment that he couldn't get out. And I didn't fault him. It was fine.
Sure.
He would find out eventually. And Meg came and she sat with me and we just sat there and we just cried, and it was okay. And it made me feel like, even though she didn't know and she hadn't gone through it, but she really understood me. And there are always people who can find that in those scenarios
that will step up to the plate.
That will step up to the plate and it's funny. I said after the fact, I was like, if the roles had been reversed, like I have no fucking clue what I would have said. Like I am so bad at that stuff. I would have made
nobody knows what to say.
Horrible joke or something.
Right.
But anyway, so that's where we're at. We are going to try, we'll try again. I am going to play it a little bit closer to the chest this time, just because, closer to the chest, closer to the vest, whatever. But just because I mean, this is what I go back and forth between. Like, I felt embarrassed. Like, I was like, so many people knew that I was prepping for a transfer, and so many people knew this. And then, you almost have to explain yourself, like, well, it didn't stick and whatever. But but either way, I'm really grateful, and I'm learning so much about the trying to conceive in the IVF community. And I just want everybody to know that I am a resource for you. I'm here for you. I'm a sounding board, whatever you need, because so many people, after I talked about it the last time, reached out and said, thank you for talking about this. Like, it's
course.
With the previous generations, it's so taboo.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like it has to be. I just feel like it shouldn't be that, because it was 1 in 8 women, struggled to conceive. Now it's 1 in 6.
Right.
It's 1 in 6. Like, and when you hear people saying like, saying stuff about it, it's like, well, count to 6 next time you're with 7 of your friends. Like, there's a chance that 2 of you will probably, struggle to conceive. And so it's just something that I want everybody to kind of keep in mind. And something that I've been seeing a lot of lately is like people saying, oh, are you pregnant? Not to me, but like people saying, oh my gosh, are you pregnant? Or
when are you having kids?
When are you having kids? Do you, the only question that I find to be like innocent is like, would you like kids someday?
Right.
Like, if you want to ask somebody that, like, would you like kids someday?
Do you see that in your future?
Right. Is way better of a question than, well, when are you guys going to have a baby?
Right.
Like,
when are you popping one out?
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing worse than when somebody would say, oh, like, when are you guys going to have a baby? Ha ha. And like, finally one day I was like, I'm actually in the middle of going through IVF. So, and like, you could tell the person's face, they were like, oh, fuck. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it to make you feel a little bit better about the fact that you were.
And you know what? Invasive. Thank God that you said that, because now moving forward, hopefully they will not say that again to another person.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like, I know I appreciate you being so open, and I know so many people do, because I feel, as just like you were saying, it's much more common. You're also young. And I feel like this was a conversation that was like, okay, well, women after, they're trying to get pregnant in their 40s, then this is a conversation. Like, it's not
right. It doesn't
discriminate.
I was just going to say, infertility doesn't discriminate.
No.
I am healthy. I'm, 27 years old, turning 28 in a couple weeks. I am not, it's not like it is. It's not like it used to be.
No,
is basically what I want to say. And there's a lot of resources. There's a lot of support. If you're going through it, you're not alone, because that was the one thing I felt so isolated in some of these moments. But it's really there's been so many people who have been there to really help me. And my husband being one, I actually said I was saying to somebody yesterday, I feel like I have always been eternally grateful for my husband. He is one of the best people on this planet.
An actual earth angel.
He is. And I don't want to, I'm getting a little emotional, but I think he's just an angel sent from heaven.
No, he really is.
I mean, we've been together for 10 years. I love him more than anything, but this process has made me even more appreciative for, who he is as a person. And, it's not for the faint of heart. It's a tough process, but it makes me more and more thankful for him and for all of our support system, but especially him every day.
I just want to say, well, I think it's so awesome and so brave that you are so open about it. You do whatever makes you feel comfortable moving forward. Like you saying, you want to keep things a little bit more private. That is totally okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't invalidate anything you've done in the past, and people can still reach out to you, but this is your business. This is your life. You don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah. And we've recorded since it happened. I just kind of was feeling like, because I really wasn't going to say anything, because I was, again, feeling like so embarrassed. But then I was like, you know what? Nobody should feel embarrassed.
It has nothing to do with you.
I was like, so that's why I do want to say something, like, because I don't want anybody to feel like, not everybody, but a lot of the people that I know that had transfers had success on their first try.
Right.
This was my first try, and mine wasn't successful. And I don't want anybody to feel like, if their first transfer isn't successful, that they've failed. So that's all. I just wanted to kind of quickly come on and say something about that, because I know I hadn't given an update in a while. But that will be my last update for a bit, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you for sharing.
And thank you for giving me the space to share about that.
And I love you. I just want to say something really quick before we jump in, just because it is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes, it is.
And by the next time we record, it'll probably be over, right? Yeah. Next week is June, which is insane.
I know, it's crazy.
Because you were talking about Meg stepping up to the plate for you. And when everything was going on with me, if you don't know, I've lived with depression since middle school. I had a really bad depressive episode about 2 years ago. And I will never forget the way that you showed up for me. Abby I said, I wasn't answering my phone. I said, please, don't come, nobody come over my house. I don't need anything. And you showed up with so much food and just put it in the freezer, and you gave me your Kindle, and I just really will never forget those moments. And I'm just so grateful. And I think, it's important. And obviously the mental health conversation is getting so much more prevalent, and people are finally opening up about it. Thank God, right? Because I wouldn't be here. I would not be alive. Yeah. And I just want you to know that I will never ever forget that for as long as I live. And I fucking love you.
Well, I love you very much. And now I'm crying. And I just think there's nothing in the planet like a good female friendship.
There's nothing. I mean? It is so powerful.
No wonder there's so many books about it.
There's truly
Big Little Lies. Nothing like a good female friendship. Murder a man together and what's next?
No,
take over
honestly,
the world.
Honestly, there's nothing like it.
Well, I love you, and I love your brain, and I think you're wonderful. And
thanks, girly.
And
let's talk some shit.
Let's talk some shit, please. Let's get into it. So, so many topics today. We get a real smattering of things to chat about. So first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about Ariana on Call Her Daddy. It was really Alex Cooper stinks, but I loved when Ariana put her in her place almost instantly into the episode when she said, Alex Cooper said to Ariana, how do you feel about the fact that, people are saying you lose him the same way that you got him, meaning she was going to lose Tom the same way she got him, which was by cheating, which if you don't know, Tom Sandoval cheated on Kristen with Ariana. Ariana did not know that he had cheated.
Yes.
Or Ariana didn't, she thought that they had broken up.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so Alex Cooper said that to Ariana, and Ariana said, well, first of all, I want to be really clear. I didn't lose him. He lost me.
Which is so true. I literally just got chills.
Period.
It's so true, though.
I literally was hit him with a chair.
That worm with a mustache?
No, because when we were watching that, my husband literally, he sits there and hate watches. He's like, this fucking show's so stupid. And he was sitting there and they said the worm with a mustache, and he burst out laughing. He was like, oh my God, he literally does look like a worm with a mustache. And Andrew my husband was like, how brutal is it that James Kennedy is the sounding board for this right now?
He's the MVP of the entire show.
100. I cannot wait to see him on the reunion tonight. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I literally cannot wait.
You know what also made me sick to my fucking stomach is how Tom Sandoval and Ariana says this in the interview that the biggest hurt for her was that he weaponized her mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
And how Tom Sandoval said, I tried to break up with Ariana and she threatened to kill herself. And that he, on that Howie Mandel interview, said he tried to break up with her on Valentine's Day. And she's like, okay, well, you bought me flowers. You can tell she's not lying, because why the fuck would she lie about that?
And just to recap, so that one thing that she said, Sandoval said that when he tried to break up with her, she was like, well, I'm going to kill myself. And she really went into what she was like, he knew what I meant by that. And she said he took it out of context, basically. Yes. And she had said, if you ever broke up with me, I would, deactivate my Instagram. I would move out of LA, and I would, she said one other thing, change my number or something like that. She was like, I would move. Quit. She said she would quit the show. Move out of LA.
Which are all very normal reactions.
100%. And she said something, I'm taking it out of context, but she said something along the lines of that version of me would be dead or something like that. And he weaponized that against her, saying that was her saying that she was going to kill herself.
Which is just so,
that's not what happened at all.
It's so disgusting to do. And Sheena really closed out the season with fucking bang.
She really did.
She was like, okay, Tom, if you really thought that she was actually going to do that, you fly her mom in, you get all of her friends, and you have them sit there with her and make sure that she's going to be okay.
She's going to be all right.
Just like they're doing now, or did when the news first broke. You
It is.
don't like make excuses for it. It's disgusting. He's a disgusting, disgusting human being, and I can't wait to see him get absolutely reamed out
Oh,
at
I'm
the
so
reunion.
excited. They're gonna drag him.
Lala,
I know. The part when she says, when she's like, don't look at me. You don't deserve to look at this. I was like.
in her hot red revenge
No,
dress.
I know. Justin, have you caught up? Are you up to date? I know you were trying to get
I'm
up.
caught up. So
Oh,
I have my basketball, my men's league after this, and then Alyssa is patiently waiting for me to get home so we can watch.
Oh,
thank
that's a
God.
down ass bitch.
Yeah.
That's a down.
That's
ass
real.
bitch.
I know, it's killing her, but I'm gonna get home as soon as possible. I will say that dude, he creeps me out. He gives me the biggest ick.
You sound like my husband. Me too.
I cannot stand him. Like every time he just comes on the screen, like he makes my skin crawl. I will say, in a show full of people I don't like, I actually like Ariana.
Me
Like,
too.
She's so normal.
She's grown on me.
Yeah.
I will say she's done nothing wrong, but her one mistake is thinking that a zebra would change its stripes. And it's
So
like,
true.
Totally.
if he was willing to cheat on his last girlfriend with you, why do you think he wouldn't do it to you too?
I think the only thing that's difficult is Tom and Kristen Doute's relationship was like just them doing like a bunch of drugs and drinking and partying. And it like Kristen said that she was like, it wasn't a real relationship.
Yeah.
I think the difference is Tom and Ariana being legit partners for 9 years and buying a home together and having a dog together and having this, real, almost a marriage.
Yeah.
Like I would consider that a marriage.
Absolutely.
I think that that's disgusting. And he fucked her best friend.
Yeah,
like
literally.
that's just a whole other level.
Well, that's what I loved in the episode last
mean.
week, like when they were talking.
Yeah.
And she kept going, then fuck my friend. Then fuck my friend.
Fuck my friend.
And I was like, yes.
It's just so cruel.
Well,
and
and then,
Raquel is a disgusting,
so gross.
and
Loser.
I like to only blame the man typically.
Yeah.
But she's a sociopath.
Yeah, she
I've never
absolutely is.
seen someone with such a lack of empathy in my life.
Yeah, and that's what Ariana said. Like Ariana literally said in the interview, she was like, I genuinely don't believe that Raquel ever grasped the severity of this situation.
No.
I think she just is too dense to
I don't know what
cognitively
reality.
understand what's happening here.
Also, the cringy scene from the finale, the worst part is like Tom comes over and they immediately like do a shot and they're drinking a beer.
Weird.
And then someone showed me, or I saw this on Twitter. You can see little Coke baggies on
my
the
God,
counter.
of course.
And I'm like, so is that your entire relationship?
Yeah.
You're
Well,
40
I mean, he
years
said
old.
he was like, I want somebody to like do shrooms with me and go to concerts. And it's like, you're 40.
You're 40.
You're 40 years old.
Like, you just had such a good partnership. Like, why are you fucking that up?
Well, and that's one of the major things that I took away from this Ariana interview was like their relationship, had its flaws, of course. But it wasn't as bad as he made it out to be at all.
No.
Like they were in couples therapy. They were working on it.
Right.
Like it wasn't.
Still going on dates.
Yeah.
And she's like, why are you acting like you weren't like in my bed? And
Right.
we weren't going out to dinner and stuff.
Well, and
like,
she
it's
said,
weird.
yeah, she said she would check his location and he would be where he was supposed to be
Right.
all of the time. Like he was never doing anything. It never looked like he was doing anything shady.
Right.
And that's why she said that she really firmly believes that that Schwartz played a way bigger part in
He
it
absolutely did.
than he ever let on. Like they would meet at Schwartz's house and like do.
the FaceTime recording, she's at Schwartz's house.
Yeah.
Like, that's disgusting.
I just think it's so gross. And Ariana did say in that she does not think that Raquel is pregnant. She thinks that she's not.
I know, but what do you think? So they were saying that there's some like earth-shattering news that is going to make them not want to sign the contract for next season. But I'm like, what the hell could it be?
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless Lisa's leaving. But I don't know how she can leave.
Right. Yeah, I have no idea.
I have no idea what.
How many
what it could
parts
be.
is the finale? 2 or 3?
It's 3. I know. Just give us 3
oh my
hours.
God. Like put it in one night. I would sit down and watch all 3 hours.
The Bachelor does it. They do a
You're
3-hour
so
finale
right.
every single time.
You're
It's fucking brutal, but you sit through it and then it's over.
I agree with you.
I would, in 3 hours of this, are you kidding me?
Right. It's like heaven.
This is the best television ever.
Ugh. Did you see, speaking of The Bachelor, did you see that they're doing like an
Yes.
old people Bachelor?
Well, and they had been trying to do this
Yeah.
since like 2019, because I remember when the casting went out and then COVID happened and I think they were like, all right, maybe we'll scratch that idea, but I love it.
I stand. I really do. I think it's a great idea.
Because you think about who watches the show and it's, typically people in that age bracket,
Yeah.
like the 45 to 65 crowd,
Right.
especially middle America.
Oh, yeah.
They're pumping those numbers up.
Though, of course they
Get them
are.
in the dating scene.
Uh,
I'd rather see that than a bunch of 21-year-old wannabe
models,
influencers.
right? And that's, I mean, and you know that everybody on Old People Bachelorette, like they're going to be there for the right reasons.
No, truly, because they don't give a shit about
No.
TikTok or Instagram or anything. But I
it.
hope they do get brand deals. I just
No,
hope
me
it's like
too.
Charmin's or something.
Yeah. Like, it depends.
Yes. Iconic. Iconic.
I actually, no, I'm looking forward to that.
Same.
All right, this one you put on here. Miley does not want to tour.
Yes. So I want to
tell us about it.
Yeah. So I wanted to read you her statement because people have been getting on her. You know, she hasn't really been on tour. She just does like big festivals.
Right.
And her, if you don't know, Miley had vocal cord surgery. She actually had it at Mass Eye and Ear, same one that Adele had. And her vocal cords, I just don't think can handle a tour. They just can't. And, you know, she's not even partying anymore. Like she's sober. She just did British Vogue and she's like, you know, I'm not drinking. I'm trying not to like damage them anymore. But she can't do like a Harry Styles tour. She can't. Her voice wouldn't last.
No.
So in the statement, she says, for clarity, I feel connected to my fans now more than ever. When I win, we win. Even though I don't see them face to face every night at a concert, my fans are felt deeply in my heart. I'm constantly creating and innovating new ways that I can stay connected to the audience I love without sacrificing my own essentials. Performing for you has been some of the best days of my life, and we will continue this journey together as we have for the last almost 2 decades. This has nothing to do with the lack of appreciation for the fans and everything to do with I simply don't want to get ready in a locker room, which is the reality of life on the road. These looks have been turned and don't travel well. The archival looks don't fold. I just don't want to sleep on a moving bus. It isn't what's best for me right now. And if you've been following my career, you know that I always change. And the way I feel about that could too. I love you forever. I'm just on my endless summer vacation. And I just
love that.
Love that so much because she's like, I'm not like caving to your pressure
Right.
of me needing to go on tour because she doesn't.
She doesn't. I feel like so much of that is like record labels, like, you know, managers, people who
1,000%.
tell like her management telling her that that's what she has to do.
Right.
I genuinely do feel like I know Harry loves to tour, but I
Right.
think a big part of it is probably part of his contract too. Like I'm sure that's what he has to do.
100%.
And I think if she doesn't have to do that and her management, why would she fucking bother?
Well, and you have to think she was touring as like a 14-year-old.
Absolutely.
And damaging the shit out of her voice for that long. Like, yeah, Harry has been famous for a long time, but like nothing like
No.
the Hannah Montana Best of Both Worlds tour.
No,
Are you
not
kidding
at all.
me?
Right.
The girl's performing arenas
Right.
before like
Yeah.
everything fully develops.
No, I
That's
know.
crazy. And I think just for an artist to take a step and be like, listen, for me right now, I can't do that.
Right.
That doesn't mean I don't love you. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate you. I could see her doing like a week residency in Vegas.
Oh, I would love
And I
that.
think that would be so great. She could have her own suite.
Mhm.
She could have all the meds that she needs, like all the little, you know, oxygen.
And she could
shit
go
that they
right
do.
back and forth from LA every night if she really wanted to.
If
It's
she
like
really
a
want-
45-minute flight.
Right, easy peasy. But I love artists that don't necessarily feel like they have to do everything
Yeah.
for their fans. You know what I mean? She already does enough.
No, I know.
The bitch is churning out music like none other.
That's why I do feel bad for Harry in that sense because
Same.
he's always doing too much. Like I'm like, you must be so tired.
Same.
And like and this I
Like Ed
tried
Sheeran.
not to take it as a personal attack,
Sure.
but I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. Like,
don't.
When we saw him, the only song I wanted to hear him play was Grape Juice. It is my favorite song from
I
Harry's
know.
house. It is.
Oh, and he
just added it into his set list for Europe.
didn't he do like Fine Line and
Yeah, he
Grape
did
Juice
Fine
and-
Line, Grape Juice, She, like all these songs that he hasn't played in a really long time. And I was like,
Stop.
Harry, I'm trying not
so
to take
sorry.
this personally.
we did see Fallen live.
We did see Fallen live.
That was
and Cherry.
unbelievable.
We saw Cherry live too. I'll never forget
we
that one.
are lucky.
I saw him
blessed.
sing, and my husband always brags about this. I saw him sing Medicine, which is like everybody says, did you hear Harry sing Medicine? I heard him sing Medicine. I heard him sing Anna. I heard him sing all these songs that nobody really else has got to hear them because I saw him when he toured Harry Styles 1. And he played, this is like real tea, a cover of The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
And then he fucked Stevie.
And then he fucked Stevie Nicks. And if you don't know about that, I'm sure I must have talked about it on this podcast at some point.
It's one of my
But
favorite things that you taught me.
It's one of my favorite fun facts of all time.
I love that.
When Harry was presenting Stevie with the award for getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he was giving this big long speech about Stevie Nicks. He said, she's everything you could ever want in a lady and in a lover. And I was like,
It's iconic. But Stevie also said that it's her and Mick Fleetwood's like love child is Harry Styles. So
Like-
I'm like, okay, so what are we doing here?
well, and I just
This
like
is
Mick
crazy.
Fleetwood does, and so does I can't think of his name right now.
Lindsey
Buckingham both do like ads for Pleasing for Harry Styles. And I'm like, I'm glad you guys could maintain your friendship after all.
It's
after
important.
all, you know, being Eskimo brothers with Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
But
the three of them.
the three of them.
The three of them.
But so in other music news,
Yes.
also, wild collab came out of the works today.
I am cracking up.
Taylor Swift and Ice Spice are collabing on.
What world are we living in?
No, I genuinely don't know.
Why? Why is this happening?
I'm excited to hear it.
I love Ice Spice. I
love Ice Spice.
I just love girls that just are who they are.
And she just does whatever she wants.
She don't give a fuck. And I love that for her. I can't even imagine what the song is going to sound like. To be transparent, I don't listen to Taylor Swift music. I haven't heard a single song off of her new album. I
hear most of it from TikTok. Like I didn't listen to Midnights. I kind of stopped after like Lover.
What's the Anti-Heroes, the lead single? I think that's one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. Genuinely. Why
I
is
just
she
didn't like
talking
this
about
album wasn't for me.
Sexy Baby? Why? Everyone's like, what? That's not a good line.
Well, I saw something because I didn't get it either. And then like Twitter must have known that I didn't get it because it showed me a tweet and it was like, if you don't understand the sexy baby line, like you're probably a sexy baby. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, then I'm a sexy
well,
baby.
Thanks.
But I'm like trying, because Ed Sheeran did collabs with like 50 and I know it's possible. I just can't picture Taylor's vocals and Ice Spice.
I know.
Like, I'm good enough.
Yeah, right.
Like, I can't picture
it's not
meshing.
No, the math isn't mathing. And I felt like that about, maybe it could be really good. You never know. Look at like Billy Ray Cyrus and Lil Nas X.
Iconic. Old Town Road is a good song.
It really, I have it on my classroom friendly playlist and it came on in my classroom maybe like 2 or 3 days ago. And I was like, the song still slaps.
It still goes.
The version with Mason Ramsey in it when he says, if you ain't got no giddy up, then giddy out my way. What
Do
a
you
line.
know how much I hate Mason Ramsey? Like I have a
Are you being serious?
No, I'm dead ass.
Are we about to have our first fight on this podcast?
I have a severe hatred for Mason Ramsey. I think he is the most annoying little prick. I can't stand him.
Wow.
I know. I don't know what it is. And I love younger people. I can't do it. Why is it? He gets famous for fucking yodeling in a Walmart? For what?
But that's so America.
For what? I could do that.
No,
I mean,
my favorite thing of all time is the mashup of the yodeling song mixed with like the video when it's like Ronnie and and Vinny at like the Jersey Shore.
Stop.
And it's like, oh Lord, I don't know what, and it's like starts to build and it's like oh my god, it's literally the funniest thing of all time.
Don't bring Mason Ramsey up to me.
Wow,
Again.
I'm so upset.
Loathe. Big time.
No, he wrote one really good, like his song Famous. Like if any other country artist wrote it, it would be a really good song. But he was 12 at the time. The whole song is like, if I'm going to be famous for something, I want to be famous for loving you. Like if I'm going to be known around the world,
cute.
I want it to be for loving you, girl. Like that's the line. And I was like, okay, if like,
give that to like Eric Church. I need a country boy.
Yes, if somebody like that sang this, like it would be such a good song.
Yeah, but he's not.
12 when he wrote this.
Right.
Like it just doesn't make sense.
It really is like Nick Jonas writing Love Bug from his sweet little broken heart.
No, stop.
And it's so, so cute. Still to this day.
Wait, it's so funny. I meant to talk about this last time, but I forgot. So after we recorded, when we were talking about the Jonas Brothers, and Justin, our producer, said him and his girlfriend are going to
Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
To go see them. And it was supposed to be like one night only, or it was 2 nights in New York, and they were doing all 5 albums in one night. And I had been, after Justin had said that, I was like, let me look and see what the tickets are like. And they really weren't that expensive. So I was like, and I said to my husband, I was like, maybe we should go. And he was like, we'll look at it. Like, we'll think about it, whatever. And then the next day, they announced that they were it was not one night. They were doing like a whole US tour. And people were fucking pissed. People were so mad. They were like, why did I buy plane tickets and flights to go to Brooklyn, New York when now you're coming to my city?
Yeah, that's exactly what Alyssa said. She was like, wait, they're coming to Boston. I was like,
literally the next day.
Yeah.
The next day.
But it'll be a good experience.
It's fun.
We're gonna have a blast. But she was just like, I kind of wish I knew that was an option.
That is pretty brutal. Bad rollout on their part.
I know. So I got tickets and I'm really excited.
I'm so jealous, but it's gonna be so awesome.
It'll be fun.
I just feel grateful that I got to see them.
Me too. I feel grateful I got to see them with you. We had so much fun.
That memory came up on my Snapchat, and there's a video of you and you're fucking jamming to them in the pit, and I go, this week's no good for me, brother. The Jonas Brothers are in town. down.
That's so true. I'm definitely going to get a
So
shirt that
sweet.
says that for the concert.
Yeah, you must.
Well, Rob always makes fun of me. Your boyfriend always makes fun of me because I used to have a shirt that I wore to the One Direction concert that said, LOL, you're not Harry Styles.
Yeah.
And it was my Twitter picture for a really long time. And then I decided to go like incognito so people couldn't find me on Twitter. But that was my Twitter picture forever.
I can
And
picture
so
it in my head.
like once a year, he'll just text me out of nowhere and go, LOL, you're not Harry Styles. And I'm like,
such a
leave me alone.
weirdo.
But he actually had a great idea. And I meant to mention this to you the last time we recorded, but I forgot. For those of you that don't know, Annie's boyfriend, DJ Robin,
I haven't heard that in a long
DJ Robin,
time.
yeah, he makes like mixes on GarageBand, and they're
Sure does.
they're actually really good.
Some of them are bangers.
No, and
Jeans is a banger.
So that's what I was just gonna say. He wrote this absolute banger called Jeans, and one of the best lines in it is "Old Navy, ass wavy," and it's a fantastic line. And he said to me, "How do you feel about maybe adding Jeans as the outro to the podcast?"
dying.
And I said, "Nothing on this planet would make me happier," and I mean that so
he
sincerely.
weasels his way into everything that I'm a part of.
I think we have to get him on the pod.
See, this is what aggravates me about him, though, because he's like, yeah, like, when are you going to let me on? Like, he'll come here and he'll be so shy and weird.
No, he wouldn't. He had a podcast, and I was on it one time, actually.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
And it was him and our friend Dana, who now works for Barstool Sports, and
Right.
he's like a pretty big like content producer
Which
there.
is
He's like
so crazy.
kind of a big deal, and I'm like, this is just our friend Dana. Like, it's kind of wild to me.
It's insane.
Yeah, and they had a podcast I went on. And like we had been recording for seconds, and they were like, "So is it true that girls don't poop?" And I was like, "I can't believe we're really doing this right now." I was like, "This is tough.
Oh,
this is
such
tough."
boys.
It was big,
Such boys.
big boy man energy.
But yeah, he can come on.
Okay, Old Navy, ass wavy.
Shit's making me go crazy.
Talking about jeans, that's dungarees.
Say denim. It really is a banger.
It really is a banger. We're gonna link it because
It's
it
a
is
good one.
fantastic. But anyways, moving on. So now Ted Lasso and Succession are both about to have the series finales.
I can't
And
believe
we've
it.
talked about this before. Like, what the fuck are we gonna watch
Makes
now
me
that it's
sick
over?
to my stomach.
No, it's so sad. And we're not gonna give any Succession spoilers from this past Sunday's episode because Annie didn't watch it yet. So if you didn't watch it, don't worry, no spoilers in that. It is, however, a fantastic episode.
I know. I mean, you go on Twitter and you see like the
Yes.
screen
Yeah,
grabs of, and I just know like Romulus is going to break my heart. And
No,
I'm
I know.
so scared.
I know.
But I'm so
every episode
excited.
I become more and more aware of the Roman that I am in my soul.
I know.
Like
I know.
I am such a Roman. It's like
We-
painful.
Do you see all the tweets about how Shiv's going to have the baby and it's going to be like Renesmee and Greg is going to fall in love with her? He's going to imprint on her.
Oh my God. I love it.
And I know you and I had talked about this. Like, you need to know when to end a show, and
Yeah.
you know the
And
show is
unfortunately, they do know when.
the show is perfect.
It is,
and
it's
you
perfect.
don't want it to go longer than it needs to, right?
Right,
And
because
it
then
goes-
you get a Game of Thrones situation where like everybody fucking hates that show now because the ending was so bad and
Sons
so
of
poorly.
Anarchy. Sons of
Yeah.
Anarchy was so good, and the last 2 seasons were so bad
Yes.
that it like taints the show.
Yeah.
You know, it's same with Lost. Lost got really weird at the end too. But I think with Succession, like Nicholas Braun said, he's like, you'd rather have it go too short than too long, which
And
is
that's
such a
true.
good point. But
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know, when you read a really good book and you mourn the characters,
Yes.
like I haven't felt that way about a TV show in a
In a
long
really
time.
long time. Yeah, I
Um,
know. I agree with you.
I think the last time, did you watch the show Heroes?
Yeah, like a bazillion years ago.
So that was
with
like
Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, Save the Cheerleader, Save the
Save the
World,
World.
Hiro Nakamura.
So true.
So
Milo Ventimiglia too, wasn't he?
oh my
Yeah, yeah.
God.
Who could forget?
That was our family show. Like we would sit down on Tuesday nights and watch that show.
That
and
was
it
a
scared the
cultural reset.
shit out of me.
Yeah.
But I remember being like, oh, what am I going to do without these characters? The show was so good. And I feel like this is how I'm going to feel about losing sweet Kenny Roy.
Ugh,
You know I
stop.
love a Kenny Roy.
I know you do.
I love a troubled man.
What's your theory? How do you think it's going to end?
I don't even know, because I feel like I really thought the deal was going to go through with Mattson and Shiv was going to end up
Me
in
too.
charge of the company. But now I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No, I don't know either. And I think
And Sunday kind of leaves on a cliffhanger, right? This previous episode?
kind of, but not really. It was just kind of like, okay, well, we'll see what happens next. But I mean, my theory is it's going to be Kendall, I think. And I think it's going to be Kendall because he's going to be just as deeply alone and deeply unhappy as Logan was. I think
Yeah.
that's really the only choice that they have at this point.
Yeah.
For it to make sense as an
I
ending.
mean, you know, I would love to see him.
I know. I know you would. I wouldn't hate it either. I feel like it's in a good way and in a bad way. It's what he deserves.
It is. It is. And it just makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I would love a little dark horse and maybe all of a sudden Connor comes out of absolutely fucking nowhere and does the whole company.
No, I would love that.
I love a good underdog.
I do.
It's so true.
And he's just that. What's that actor's name? Why am I blanking on his name?
Alan something. Not Alan Menken. That's the guy that wrote The Little Mermaid. Hold on.
Stop. Well, Cameron Fry is just such a great actor. And
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. No, Alan Rickman died.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Rickman's Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that man's dead.
You're right. Hold on one sec.
Alan.
Alan.
That's so weird. I don't picture him as an Alan.
Maybe it's not an Alan.
Look up Cameron Fry.
Alan Ruck.
Okay,
I was close.
You were close.
Alan Ruck.
Rickman Ruck, yes.
Ferris Bueller. A fun fact about me is Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of my favorite movies.
It's
of
good
all time.
It's good every time.
It really is. It never stops being
no
good.
kiss for daddy. That's my favorite.
So
line.
that's how it is in their family.
Oh,
man.
Why? That movie is just so.
No, I always say
good.
I would love to name a daughter Sloane.
I know.
Sloane Peterson.
Someone used to tell me that I am like Sloane from Entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I get that vibe.
Okay. I need to go watch Entourage.
I love Entourage.
How do you think Ted Lasso is going to end? I didn't watch, so the episode came out last night.
Honestly,
I haven't watched, but
I didn't watch last night's, but this is a spoiler from last week's if you didn't see it. So pause here if you're interested in that. Or if you're not interested in that. But the Keely and Roy finally got back together, which everything is right in my world.
Truly.
Nothing else matters now. I really genuinely do not give a fuck how the show ends now because they got their happy ending. And that's quite literally all that matters to me.
It made me so happy. We love an emotionally mature man. And that
we really do. And it took him a little time for him to mature emotionally, but he got there.
Because Phoebe just like always flips a switch in his head and she just gets it. But so I was telling you, there's a theory that Ted and Rebecca are going to end up together. And I hate this theory more than anything in the entire world.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say you ship it.
No, I can't stand it because there's no sexual chemistry between the two of them. They are thick as thieves, friends, have each other's back. Yeah. Like it wouldn't make sense.
Like I'd prefer to see him end up with like Sassy.
Same. But so they were saying because Rebecca has that matchbook that, when she went to see the psychic, she was like, it's going to be the green matchbook. And the little toy soldiers that Ted has are matchbook soldiers, I guess. I went down this like rabbit hole on TikTok the other day. But and they like showed a scene where he's looking at her lovingly, but I'm like, it would make no sense.
Yeah.
It would make absolutely no sense.
I
would love to, like, I can see her, if it like flashes forward 5 years or something and she has like adopted a child or something like that. And
I would actually prefer to see her back with Sam.
Would love that as well.
I know it's like not what people want, but I love that. I love Sam.
And I think Ted is going to go back to America.
You do?
I do. I think he's going to go back to America.
My dark horse theory is I think the wife, I can't remember her name, will realize what she has done. And she will take the son and they will they'll go to London. And
I think Nate will end up coaching their team. I think he's going to come back.
Oh, okay. I see that. I can see that.
Because, spoiler alert, he quit West Ham.
Right.
And I feel like now he's starting to realize like, oh shit, what did I do?
Right.
Ted was so good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it has to have a happy ending.
And I put this on my Instagram story, but like I get it. I get that Nate like needed a redemption arc, but like it does kind of piss me off. Like, but I get it. Everybody deserves to like have the good in them seen. And that's the whole point of Ted Lasso.
It is.
But like, sometimes just like let the villain be the fucking villain for a minute.
But that actor just is like so lovable.
I know.
That it was like when he started becoming mean, I was like, no, this is actually making me like sick.
Yeah. I remember talking about it with Shane Nazaro and we both were like, is this about to get like bad? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell's happening?
Yeah.
Like when he started spitting in the mirror, I was like, I can't watch this anymore. It's making me like very, very sad and uncomfortable.
Yes, me too. But I think when the Emmys comes around, I think my sweet boy, Phil Dunster, Jamie Tart, I think he's like really gonna, he deserves an Emmy this season because he has been incredible.
Insane.
He really has been so amazing. It's going to be a really tough award season, I think,
I
between
know.
Succession and Ted Lasso. Thank God they're so different.
I think they were saying Kieran Culkin.
Oh my God. In this past week's episode, wait till you watch it. You're going to die because he put on, I'm not fucking with you, the performance of a lifetime. If he does not win the Emmy for that performance, I genuinely do not know what an Emmy qualifies you for.
I think that because I believe, I may be incorrect, but I believe he's only been in the supporting actor category, not the lead actor.
I think you're right.
So I think he might be in the lead actor category, which means he would go against Jeremy Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Kendall's actor's name, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, the good thing about that show, I feel like they're all like, if you win, I win. You know what I mean?
Yes. They're so supportive of each other.
Yes.
And something that I saw that made me laugh was, so apparently there had been something in like one of the tabloids about, they were like, oh, they're filming a funeral scene on Succession. Like the only people that weren't there were Shiv and Tom. Like, are they like, did they kill off Shiv and Tom or whatever? But it was because Brian Cox like went to film and they were like, Brian, you don't have to be there. It's okay. And he was like, no, like I have to throw everybody off my trail.
So smart.
Yeah. He was like, I can't let anybody know.
So smart.
And there's an actor, I won't spoil it for you, but there's an actor in this upcoming week's episode and you'll learn who it is or whatever. And it's actually Brian Cox's wife.
Oh, I saw something on Twitter about that, which I love. I love
that.
when they do
I love
that.
A moment like that.
Like Melissa McCarthy and her husband.
That one always sends me.
My favorite
it's
of all time.
So funny.
She has a brand deal right now. It's with like Expedia or something. And
yeah, it is.
And
it's booking.com.
Yes. And her husband's in the commercial.
Yeah.
She grabs his ass at the end.
Yeah.
I love them together.
No, and they're laying in bed and she's like, I booked us for, and they both talk at the same time. And he says like a ski house in Vermont. And she says like a beachfront in Miami.
Yes,
and they're like, oh.
I'm so sorry.
Booking.com. This is a off topic subject, but booking.com is actually gonna find themselves in a little bit of hot water soon because
Really?
I don't know if you saw this, but Alex Earl was going to Positano with like 10 friends or something like that.
I want to live her life.
And they had booked, I know, right? And they were going to Positano from Ibiza and they had booked through booking.com. They landed in Positano, went to get like a car or whatever. The car canceled and was like, this address doesn't exist. Like this house that you're telling me you're staying at is not a real house.
You're kidding me.
And booking.com like totally screwed them. It was like 3:00 in the morning, Positano time, and they had to like find somewhere to stay. They all ended up sleeping on like the floor in a cot, like all this stuff. And I was like, booking.com has no idea how badly they have fucked up because she is the influencer of all influence. Nobody's ever going to fucking use booking.com ever again.
That's brutal.
I know. I was like, to screw over somebody like that, unless they make it really right, they are in hot water.
Woof.
I know. Hate to be their marketing people today.
Yeah, no. That's a tough crisis communication team right now.
Hate to talk about that. Okay, so like you said earlier about Taylor Lautner.
Yes.
So Taylor Lautner is clapping back, and this is just kind of like a fun little fluff piece that I wanted to mention. Taylor Lautner, who plays Jacob of Twilight, Taylor Lautner calls out comments that he has aged like a raisin and old broccoli. That's what people are saying about him.
Again, going back to why can't people just be nice to one another? It's actually so simple. And I feel like probably I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth because I just said I hated Mason Ramsey. But I would never like comment on his videos. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's the one thing I'm like,
hate him. He's annoying, but like whatever. But when people go out of their way to comment on like say what you will.
Aside from that one time that you commented on something about Howie Mandel.
Yeah, fuck that guy. But that was more because I was irresponsible.
But all my homies hate Howie Mandel.
But even when the whole everything was going on with Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber and whatever side you fall on, like the way that people were treating Hailey Bieber is so disgusting. And like honestly, I just don't like. Does it make you feel better to comment like? Like, why are you commenting on Taylor Lautner's video? Like, you look like shit.
Right.
Why?
Like, what?
That man just minds his business.
He also was like definitely a multimillionaire from being in the Twilight franchise. Like, what do you mean?
Wait, have I talked to you about the old Meg Thee Stallion tweet about Twilight?
No.
I can't remember if it was. So there's an old Meg Thee Stallion tweet. I don't even know what year it would be from, but it's about Twilight. And she's like, damn, they're doing like another Twilight movie. Just fuck the wolf already. It's my favorite tweet of all time. I think it's so good. And just like picturing her doing it. But I love what Taylor Lautner said. He was just like,
were you a Twilight fan?
Nah,
You were
not
too
really.
cool. I was kind of like a fangirly nerd, so that makes sense that I was. You were playing sports, and I was like reading the Twilight books.
I mean, like, I think I might have read the first one. I saw the movies.
Yeah, no, the movies are good.
The baseball scene, iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic, revolutionary,
forget?
but honestly, who could forget?
That was a revolution.
Dakota Fanning, and what is that, the third movie,
Yeah.
when she just goes, pain. Like, it still sends a shiver up my spine.
It's scary.
But please leave Taylor Lautner alone, because that man does nothing wrong. He just like married another woman named Taylor, and now there's two Taylor Lautners in the world.
There's two Taylor Lautners in the world.
Just a little crazy, but
and
that's okay.
Another thing Taylor Lautner said recently that really cracks me up. So Taylor Swift releasing
Fearless, right? No.
Is it Fearless? No, it's 1989.
Oh,
wait.
I thought it was Fearless.
Hold on. I think
I don't know. She's got too many.
Hold on.
No, maybe she already did Fearless. I think.
Speak Now. Speak Now.
Speak Now. Yes.
Speak Now. I don't know why I couldn't think of that, because that's actually one of my favorite Taylor Swift albums. But so she's re-releasing Speak Now, and that whole album is all about John Mayer,
which is
and somebody asked Taylor Lautner like how he felt about it, and he was like, "I'm fine, like praying for John though."
Yeah. You know how
John Mayer like dead soon.
You and I have talked about we love celebrities that just like do 180s. John Mayer, a complete 180.
Oh yeah,
because I feel like he was such a piece of shit and
totally.
like so what did he say about Jessica Simpson? He called it was like some.
Oh yeah,
gross,
when we read it in her memoir, it was like something messed up.
Yeah, but he just like was so degrading towards women, and now I feel like he is just like owns his shit. Is like, yeah, I was terrible.
Right.
I'm like learning from my mistakes. I don't know. I love him, and I love to see someone turn it around.
And some people were saying that they were thinking that maybe John Mayer was going to be featured on Dear John, because they had
honestly, I would do that.
Not reconciled, but had made up in a way that, and there's a rumor going around, and I will, not even because I like Taylor Swift, but because I love Harry Styles, will jump off the cliff if this is true, but people are saying that he is going to be on Style with her, because that song obviously is about Harry Styles.
If she, I mean, and
I would love.
She is brilliant.
That is a great song.
She should do that.
100%.
Like,
well, there was so many videos going around of them talking at the Grammys this year, and
bring
I was
back
like,
Joe Jonas too. We love Joseph Jonas.
How come we didn't get Mr. Perfectly Fine ex Joe Jonas? Like, what happened to that?
Love Joseph Jonas.
When they were just doing, and this actually ties into our next topic. When they were doing press recently, somebody said like, "Oh, how come you haven't?" collabed with Taylor and sang like Mr. Perfectly Fine, because that song's about him with Taylor. And he was like, I would if I was ever asked.
They
had to clarify. He was like, well, to be clear, like I was invited to the show. Like I've seen her in the shows, like, because I think her and Sophie like have become pretty close.
Yeah, because Sophie's like, haha, you loser.
Right, loser, you dumped her. Like, what an idiot. And but he was like, I've been invited to the shows, but I've never been invited to sing with her.
So good.
Which, going back to the Joe Bros, which I should have brought this up earlier, but I wasn't looking. They were on Armchair.
The interview. So I love when they do press, because they really are just like a couple Jersey boys that are still, they're so brotherly. Like you can just feel their dynamic through an interview. And I love that. So I love Armchair Experts, like my favorite podcast in the world. I love the way Dax and Monica ask questions. I love how long guests stay, because it's really hard. Like, you don't get long form interviews. And I love that they're there and they can ask anything. And most of the time artists or guests really open up. And they were talking about, kind of being envious of one another. And Joe said that he was at a Fleetwood Mac concert.
Oh, love.
And he found out that Nick had gotten the job to be the new judge on The Voice. And Joe is a judge on The Voice in Australia. So he was like, maybe they'll pick me in America. Like, this will be great. I've already shown I can do it. And he said he found out Nick got the job, and he was so, like, obviously happy for his brother, but so jealous and so sad. And Landslide was playing at the Fleetwood Mac song. And he said, I was fucking bawling my eyes out.
Stop.
Which I just,
Poor Joe.
But I love that he told that story.
Yeah.
Like, so good. I love them so much.
Me too. And I owe you an apology.
Why?
Because I said that I didn't think the album was that good.
Oh, yeah, which was crazy.
I had only given it a perfunctory listen.
Sure.
It was just first listen through, and I wasn't really feeling it. And I wasn't alone in the car. And my husband was like, what is this? And like changed the next.
He threw the vibes off.
He did. He threw the vibes off. And then I listened to it straight through. And I was wrong. It is good.
It is so good.
It is good.
Happiness Begins really is like a no skips album. It is perfect.
It is perfect.
It is like one of the best comeback albums,
Yeah.
I think, possible.
Yes.
It's just so perfect. But this album, the album, is the most perfect songs to perform live.
Yeah.
And you can just tell it's
going to be fun.
the way that they're just having a blast.
Yeah.
Like working with John Bellion, I think was such a smart move.
So smart for all of them. For John Bellion too.
And they talk about in the interview, they were like, we had always written about like romance and dating in the past, but now they're writing about like fatherhood and marriage and breaking up the band and all of these things that they never really like. Little Bird is the sweetest fucking song I've ever heard in my life. Are you kidding me?
How cute was that TikTok I sent you?
I love her.
It was Kevin Jonas's daughter, and she
needs to be famous.
She does.
She's so funny.
And Kevin's videotaping her, and he says, "Which is your favorite song on the album?" And she's like, "Oh, Little Bird," or Little Birds, and she's like, and Kevin goes, "Oh, why?" And she's like, "Because it's about us."
Yeah,
and it was just like my heart was stopping. I was like, oh,
iconic.
So
but I loved that they were talking about when they broke up, and I feel like it was always so hush hush. Like, Dax was like, was it amicable? And they were like, no, Nick broke us up. Which like I love it. Like just own your shit. But
well, and I will say when we saw them when we were together, Nick definitely, the vibe was definitely that Nick was not the nicest of the three of them, was the vibe that I got for sure, which was hard for me as a former Nick girl. I was a Nick girly growing up.
Yes, of course.
Like when Nick Jonas wrote a little bit longer about him getting diabetes, like I cried for like days straight. Like I was just like hoping that he was going to
dying.
I was just hoping that he was going to be okay. He was fine. Spoiler alert. Like he just had childhood diabetes. It's like no big, I mean, not that it's no big deal. I don't mean to say that at all, but I thought he was dying.
Of course.
And I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm so afraid of childhood diabetes. And she was like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like,
yep. He's going to be okay.
Please. Like, he's going to be all right. I'm sure of it.
That is hysterical.
But that's why I think it was just so different than Happiness Begins. Like, because, and like, remember this? I was like this close to asking my husband if we could make Remember This our wedding song. Because, or the song that we walked into or something, because it's just such a good song.
Just
like,
pray for a moment.
And that's what the day after we got married, when I posted my Instagram of like our first pictures as like a married couple or whatever, that was my caption, was like, we used to pray for a moment just like this. Like, we're going to want to remember this. And it was, I love it.
It's such a good song.
That was one of my contenders.
Roller Coaster? Are you kidding me?
No, like, it was so good.
Perfect.
It was fun when we were young and now we're older. And I've always said that. And, another song that was in a top contender spot to be our wedding song was Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves.
No.
But like the juju was just a little off because she wrote that about her ex-husband. So like the vibes just weren't. Yeah.
What was I know. What was your wedding song? Why can't I
Speechless
remember?
by Dan and Shay.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
A perfect song.
Yeah, it was a perfect song.
When I got to interview them, not to be like name dropping, but I got to interview them, and I believe that I asked them if I ever got married, if they would come perform at my wedding. So I got to circle back on that.
Yeah, circle
one.
back.
Yeah.
Ask them what's up.
Hey, Dan.
No, they were, honestly, it was great. And then we walked into like just the most me thing of all time, but we walked into
The Greatest
show from The Greatest Show,
which was amazing.
It was just very funny. And my husband, you have to understand, like I'm me and I'm an idiot, and my husband is just okay, like he's very go with the flow, like
he really is.
And I was like, can we do this? And he was like, all right, whatever.
It was
like,
awesome. I was ready to run through a brick wall.
It's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
It's great.
It's so good.
Anyways, all right, we had more things to talk about, but we've been talking shit for a long time. We can always pick it back up next time. Any final thoughts for today?
I don't think so. I'm very excited.
Big week of TV ahead for us.
I know. I need to catch up on Succession, which I promise I'll do, and I'll obviously watch. Is Sunday the series finale?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to do that. I'm so excited for the Pump reunion.
I know, me too. It's going to be so good.
Rob's going to sit next to me with headphones on. I'll send you a picture later on because that's what
my husband will pretend like he's not listening. He'll pretend like he's scrolling reels, but then he'll pick his head up every once in a while and be like, that's a great point.
Scrolling reels. The man is 90.
Yeah, he won't make the switch to TikTok, and it really...
Okay. He needs to grow up.
Thank you. That's what I said. I'm like, so funny when I saw this 3 weeks ago.
Right. Loser.
Oh my God, I can't. It's too much. So we'll be back next week for a regular episode, but maybe you could do a friends and family week when I'm on the 8th grade class trip to Gettysburg if you're interested.
Oh my God, should I bring Robin?
You should.
I know, but it would be fun if it was me, you, and Rob.
I know that
because you are the reason.
That is true. I do love matchmaking. It's one of my passions in life, but my husband won't let me pursue it anymore. But
Again, such a buzzkill.
Such a buzzkill.
I'm like, just
But I
kidding,
love him. All right, everybody. Well, don't forget to follow us on TikTok. Oh, no, we're not on TikTok. I mean, well, maybe we could be.
Yeah, we could.
I always say that I'm going to work on like making more reels, but it's actually like, not to sound like such a boomer, but like it takes me a long time.
No.
Like I always edit them. So I like record a clip that I think is funny. Like I'll screen record it on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to put it into a reel and whatever. And then after like 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is so hard.
No, I feel like I'll have so many ideas for a TikTok video and then I'm like, I don't know how to edit it.
No,
and
yeah.
I feel like I'm 90 years old.
I watch I'm getting better. I watch a million YouTube videos
Same.
on like how to use like CapCut and all these apps that everybody's using.
Yeah, no, still don't get it.
I do it on my Mac because I'm
that's what I need to just go into iMovie and keep it simple.
I know. But yeah, so follow us on Instagram. I'm at Just Happy to Be Here. You're at Annie_Dow.
Yes.
At Talk of the Townies. At Thanks to Hedge Better for this beautiful new studio here at the Hedgequarters. Thanks, Justin. It looks gorgeous. You did a great job.
You're the
You
best.
guys like it?
We're gonna try to get some sort of sign here. The other
we
podcast that
must.
records in here has one, but maybe we'll do like a little neon sign. That would be
Would
fun.
love a little
I got one
neon
for our wedding and
moment.
it was so cute. I love it.
I have so many pictures in front of that.
It is a great sign.
So many.
It's hanging above
Just
my
bring
bar
that
cart
one.
now. Yeah, right. Imagine. Oh my god, my husband doesn't even want his government first name on the pod. Never mind his government last name.
Buzzkill.
But I mean, everybody knows my government last name now, so it
Yeah,
really doesn't
it's
matter.
fine.
But
It's
either way,
fine.
neither here nor there. All right, everybody. Well, we love you guys, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Listen, my girl, she stays online shopping. She likes trousers, pantsuits, things to cover her legs. You know what I'm saying? And I said, listen, girl, you gotta stop all that. My shorty wear jeans, that's dungarees, say denim, say denim. She wear jeans, that's dungarees, I say denim, that's denim. She walk into that Target, them hips make me lethargic. Got a dump truck, let's park it. And them jeans, girl, they the hardest, that's jeans. She wear dungarees, she say denim, denim. She wear jeans, that's dungarees, she say denim. Listen, she in Old Navy, ass wavy, shit making me go crazy. Say, hey girl, come flirt with me. That ass make me get surgery. She wear jeans, that's dungarees, she wear denim.